What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Hopefully welcome back. Today is Friday, October 31st. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween. If you enjoy Halloween, little girls out here stretching it out. If you hate Halloween because it's the devil's holiday, well, you know, that's fine too. Everybody's got to pick a lane. That's what I always say. You got to pick a lane. So it has rained for 4 days straight. And now it is time to do something once again. So the topic at hand is hot water. You know, it's getting cold out. It was a 40-degree low last night. I got some laundry to do today. I like to take a shower out here with my Joka Hot Tap Nomad V2 kit. The only thing is, you know, this isn't really a cold weather item. So this thing is rated, now I don't know exactly how they rate this thing, but it's rated at 37,000 BTUs at I believe it's a 1.6 gallon flow rate. And it's not enough. So if their water flow dial, the blue one, is actually linear, see where it's set right there? That's about the flow rate that I can get very close to 104 degrees out of the shower head. Now 104 degrees to me is the perfect shower temperature for warm weather, but when it's cold, it's not quite enough. Now we had a low of 40 degrees last night. The water input temperature is 50 degrees. And you know, all this isn't working out that great. The flow rate's too low. So what we're going to be doing is installing a VEBOR tankless propane water heater in the Harbor Hut. And I'm going to be making a more proper outdoor shower. You know, one of the things that I've been messing up with this off-grid project the whole way through is just focusing on work, whether that be excavation, land clearing, road making, whatever, and then not paying any attention to my actual living environment. Now last year, maybe about this time last year, I decided that enough was enough. You know, as you can see, it's just all dirt out here. The dogs, I had 3 dogs at that time, are all tromping in the mud and dragging that inside. So I put all this pea gravel, river rock down, and started making the environment a little better for living. And I should have been doing that first. That should have been the first thing that I did instead of the last thing that I did. But here we are doing things in the here and now. As you can see, you know, this thing works. It works. I've got it on a little hanger that you'd use for your little mums or whatever that you'd hang some plants from. Very small shower head. And this thing is most likely, if this is a linear dial, flowing half of 1.6 gallons at around 104 degrees. We need a lot more than that. So this water heater that I just spoke of flows 4.5 gallons of water at 100,000 BTUs. So that thing is flowing like 2.8 times the water that this thing flows at max rate at, you know, 68,000 BTUs more than its maximum temperature. Anyhow, we're stepping it way up. We're stepping it way up, and we need that because I'm getting ready to do some laundry today. And the washer that I have, I guess, is like a 4.7 cubic foot washer, which is like one of the big family ones. And we need more hot water than the old Nomad, the V2 Hot Tap V2 can put out. So we're gonna have to step it up. Now I don't have that water heater yet. You know, went shopping for all the stuff to do the shower head and the shower setup, and I've ordered the propane hose and regulator and all that. One thing I might be doing today is trying to get this VEBOR diesel heater fired up that I had previously put in this little tiny house. but I will be installing one of those in there. Now this system was normally going to be drained, if you will. It's not going to be a freeze-proof setup. So I'm just going to use it and then have it set up to where you just unhook a hose and it just drains by gravity. And you might say, well, why don't you use one of the outdoor on-demand propane water heaters? And that is an option. Those are currently out of stock, but the problem is that they need to be thermically protected as far as the pipes go. You know, you could have that unit mounted on the outside. It plugs into your outlet, so it would be drawing power to keep the actual unit from freezing, and then I would have to have those I guess they're like, it's a pipe warming tape on the pipes to keep those from freezing, and that's just going to be taxing my solar system, so I don't really want to do that. So we decided, I decided that that's what the way that I'm going with the indoor on demand. And then it's basically just going to see these hoses here. They're quick connects, the gray ones. Just going to unplug those and the whole thing's just going to drain itself out. And I don't have to worry about anything freezing. So you just use it when you're using it. It's not going to freeze while you're using it. And then you just unplug it while you're done. We got this freeze-proof yard hydrant, so technically everything's freeze-proof. But yeah, let's get into it. Well, we are in the old mobile home, tiny home storage unit. We're gonna start assembling this outdoor shower setup. Now this, is something that's going to be outside 365. It's not going to withstand, bursting. If it was full of water and it froze, nothing's going to withstand that. But if you open the valves, it's going to drain out, and that's what it's going to be able to tolerate. So it'll be outside all year round as long as it's not full of water. It's going to be good. All right, so it is. Got cold last night. It was 38 degrees. It is 43 in here. I'm going to fire up this VEOR diesel heater and get us some heat in here while we're doing some work. So I got that running yesterday. Did another video on that if you're interested in seeing that thing get fired up. Like I said, I did that video and you can check that out. Now, if you've never heard one of these run before, it's like a little baby jet engine is kind of what it sounds like. You can hear the lower motor basically sucks air into the combustion chamber through that. That's the exhaust, and there's the fuel pump. You just kind of hear it clicking away. So these things are neat. It's supposed to be 27,000 BTUs, 8 kilowatts, and if you become a member, which is basically giving them your email address and stuff like that, you can save a decent amount of money. I think this thing was like, with a Bluetooth model, I don't know, I think I got it for like 97 bucks after the discount for being a member. Pretty decent value, I think. One thing I wanted to touch on was fuel consumption. Yesterday I had filled this thing up to right about there. We're currently right about there, and that has been 7 hours of running on full blast. And just for reference, that tank, I believe, is either 2 or 2.5 gallons. It says 10 liters. It's been a while since I looked at the specs or whatever you want to call it, but I believe it's 2.5 gallons. Could be 2. But yeah, that's not much at all. So these things, are pretty efficient. And if you're on solar like I am, you get used to that free energy after you purchase the hardware, but not too shabby. Get started doing what we're doing here. We're going to be using this, I guess they're calling it a multi-purpose thread sealant, and we'll be using Teflon tape also. A lot of people seem to feel like we should be using both. I'm okay with that. No leaks is good. that turned out nice. So if you look here, these fittings are meant to accept like a garden hose, and I don't know if I'll show it in this video or not, or if you've seen other videos, but they're basically going to screw into there, and there's a quick disconnect that comes off of some PEX piping that I put outside. Now this is the shower head that I'm using. It will detach from there, which is kind of cool because these rainfall shower heads will tend to hold water, and it has this infinite adjustment on it to where you can control the flow of water that you want out of there, which is really cool. So between the adjustability that I'll have, and I'm going to paint one of these blue so it's clear to folks, even though it's kind of a left and right orientation, but it just looks neat and proper. But you can see that this comes off of here. I think it's 18 inches. So that should give a good proper shower with the rain head. And that'll be really nice. So you can, like I said, you know, I don't mean to be real gimmicky, but you can adjust the water to be either like a nice stream or like a soaking pour. I just checked that VEVOR tankless hot water heater is supposed to be here on Monday. They're pretty quick with the shipping. I don't know if I'm close to a shipping center or what the deal is, but I do have a gas hose that came with the adapters that I need to, you know, plumb from a tank to the water heater. And then I also got this dual stage regulator, and it will attach to either a 20-pound up to a 100-pound tank, which is nice. It gives you that flexibility because you don't get that out of all of the, I guess, attachment points to the tanks. And it shows, you know, the state of fill in the tank, which is convenient also. But yeah, so if you're going to do something like this, these tankless water heaters take what I'm going to refer to as a low pressure, high volume regulator. This one takes, I think it's 0.4 psi of pressure, which is really, really low. You don't really see that on, you know, your gas grills or little buddy heaters or anything like that. They run a much higher pressure, but this one is set up to do what we need. So keep that in mind, getting the right pressure regulator for your water heater if you decide to do that. But yeah, so there we go. I really like the look of this. You know, I was thinking, excuse the gimbal is getting a little unhappy. I was thinking about the way that this looks, and it was having a I guess a memory of watching the Biker Build-Off. Jeez, excuse me. The Biker Build-Off series. I think it was on Discovery back in the day. And there was all the different styles these different builders would bring to the table. And you might look at this and say, wow, that looks like just, you know, a bunch of cobbled together fittings. But I don't really see it that way. I think it's got a pretty cool mechanical look. And I was thinking about Indian Larry. That's my rambling point. And I looked at some of his builds compared to the other guys who had like really polished, super, you know, custom choppers and whatnot. But Indian Larry wanted you to see the mechanics of it. And that's what really inspired him, was the mechanics of the build. And this kind of just made me think of Indian Larry. So if you're into bikes or anything like that, you know Indian Larry was a real character, if you will. And he always wanted to incorporate the mechanics into his build. So yeah, I think he would be like, hey, that's a cool shower, dude. You know, so yeah, that's about I guess all we've got going on now. I'm not going to put the shower head on until I mount it. I don't know if I'll do that in this video or not. So this could be the end. This could be the end of this video. Maybe we'll make it a multi-part series. Depends on how the editing goes. I'm trying to keep these videos short so everybody has, you know, an opportunity to watch these without getting too bogged down. And by the way, take a look at that temperature. You know, we started off at 43 degrees in here, and that VEVOR diesel heater's got us up to 72 degrees. So that's a great little item, you know. Check that out if you're interested in something like that. Well, if this is the end, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all on the next one.